Hello all, welcome back to Shaving with Peg Leg. Today, a head shave. And I'm going to use my Ever Ready with a second use gem blade in it. Yep, we're gonna do a single edge head shave. For soap, we're using Cella. And I also have the aftershave and balm. So no Johnson & Johnson on the head today. We're using that. Soap in the bowl. I'm going to whip it up with a PAA Atomic Rocket. And away we go. So how's everybody doing out there? Hope you're getting good shaves in. Hope you had a good weekend. Sunday, and Mom had physical therapy today. They come by and do it at the house, and actually this is the first time somebody's been here since she got out of rehab. They were supposed to call Saturday to let her know they would be here Sunday, but at 10 o'clock this morning she gets a phone call from the guy. He can't get in the gate. He needs the code to get in the gate. And she's like, who are you and what do you want? And he explains it. She goes, nobody told me anything. He says, they didn't call you yesterday to set up this appointment because they've got it on my charts. And she's like, no, well, with Mom, I don't know. But most likely they did not. Nice lather. There's more soap at the bottom of that bowl. I just don't think I'm going to need it. I'm trying to get the bowl to stand up with that heavy ass brush in it without falling over. This came in yesterday. I forgot to show it on the video yesterday. It's a velvet edge hone. See that? It's for razor blades. You put your DE blade in there and you rock it back and forth. I did sand it down so it was a clear finish and it wasn't like that anymore. So I've got clear, fresh stone to hone with. And this also came in Saturday. This is the weight soap from First Line Shave. Remember I had a problem lathering it and I couldn't get it to lather, and I ended up just taking and mixing some of this with an unscented soap so I could have the scent and get it to lather. He had a bad batch go out and I contacted him and he was happy I contacted him because he was hunting down all the people that actually bought the bad batch, and he sent me a replacement, and there it is. Well, actually that's the old one. The new one's up there, but it's the same thing. So Telly ho with a head shave. Turn that down a little bit. This might be a little thin. But it'll be okay. Haven't used a Cella in a while. I saw a couple other people use it last week, and I was like, yep, I need to use mine too. I haven't used it in a while. And yes, it smells like Christmas cookies, marzipan. That's what it smells like. It's freaking Christmas cookies. And since it is December and Christmas time, perfect soap. Okay. Ever Ready. Second use gem blade. Never used this on my head. It's on my second use of the razor ever. So I think I'm going to fight with the angle a little bit. Just lay it like that on your head, and then just rotate it till it starts cutting. And once it starts cutting, you can stop. My next base shave on Tuesday, I will use the twig thorn or the leaf thorn again, and I'm going to use a different blade in it because I'm really thinking that it was the blade more than the razor. That just my neck all last night until almost this morning. Well, I would say this morning a little bit, but all last night my neck was on fire. I never even gotten that kind of irritation from a cartridge razor. I was burning up. That thing literally killed me. It felt like somebody had sprayed lighter fluid on my neck and then just lit it. That's what it felt like. Don't ask me how I know how that feels, but I do. Maybe not on my neck, but same thing, same principle. Wow. 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 I might have a new head shaver. That might blow the leaf out of the water. Seriously, it's not as easy to use and forgivable as the leaf. The leaf is just lather and shave, get her done. This takes a little more concentration, but that was pretty frickin' close. Yeah, that's pretty flippin' close. Anybody else head shave? You get these little tufts of hair right here. If you miss them, that's why I usually try and use this razor around my ears to get them, because it drives me nuts. I'll come in after my shave. I'll come in and use the bathroom while I'm standing here washing my hands. I'll look in the mirror and I'll see like hairs sticking up. Like, what the hell? Wow, 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 wow. That's freaking good. That's flipping good. Okay. Let's see if I can do this with my glasses on. Alright, today, December 11th. 1620. The Mayflower. Pilgrims come ashore in what is believed to be Plymouth Rock, Massachusetts. Also in 1620, Miles Standish takes 18 others on it to explore the north part of the Cape to see what's out there, and they get attacked by 30 Native Americans who would wish they had put up a wall, but hell, they thought they had an ocean separating them from the assholes in Europe. Wrong they were. So things weren't always Thanksgiving between the Pilgrims and the natives. They weren't always Thanksgiving. Let me do this side, then I'll do the back. And Standish was later elected the military leader of the Pilgrim colony that they established. Because he had the most military experience. Okay. Hang on a second. Somehow my glasses are full of soap and water. There we go. Then, we're going to do something just a little different today because there's just a bunch of little things that I wanted to get out there. In 1792, King Louis VIII of France, or excuse me, 16th of France, the XV1 or I, King Louis XVI of France, was put on trial for treason and crimes against the state following the French Revolution. He was found guilty. And he and his much hated wife, Marie Antoinette, Miss Let Them Eat Cake If They Can't Afford Bread, were put to the guillotine in 1792 or 1793 on January 21st, which happens to be my birthday, but not 1793. I ain't that flippin' old, and I wasn't around to see this. But I just want to say, you can find your leaders guilty of treason and crimes against the state and then take them out and put them to the guillotine. Can we bring that back, please? Just a little bit. Okay, where are we at? Oh, just these spots still, always in the very back again. And in this date in 1816, wasn't around for this one either, Indiana becomes the 19th state of the Union of the United States. Indiana joins the Union of States, becomes a state. Then in 1844, get this one. This one's kind of interesting, but there wasn't a lot of information on it. The first dental use of nitrous oxide in Connecticut. You know, laughing gas. It was the first use of it for dental in 1844. I know we all see the westerns where you go into the barber and he gives you a shot of whiskey and he sticks a pair of pliers in your mouth and rips the tooth out. Well, that wasn't all that dentists were. That was frontier dentistry. Did you guys know that cowboys, when they were out, like, doing cattle runs, when they were taking them from one place to another, and they were away from a town for long periods of time, and they had a bad tooth that they couldn't extract themselves, they couldn't get out? Do you know they used to take a pistol cartridge, a case, the case that the bullet sits in, and they'd cut it down to about yay big, and they'd hammer it over the top of the tooth to cover the exposed nerve. Then when they got to town, they'd have the dentist pull that tooth, the barber. Okay, now in 1866, we have the first yacht race across the Atlantic Ocean, which is a hell of a yacht race. Cover a whole ocean. The schooners Fleetwing, Vesta, and Henrietta, with New York Playboy Gordon Bennett on board, leave Sandy Hook, we know Sandy Hook, for the Scilly Islands. And the Henrietta with the Playboy on board won. Race across the Atlantic, won by a Playboy. In 1872, Pinckney Benton Pinckney Pinnicky Benton Stewart Pinchback is elected the first African American governor of Louisiana. Interesting. In 1888, the French Panama Canal Company goes bankrupt, prompting the United States government to step in to finish the project. Wow. You know what? I want to do just a little more, like right here. How's the back? The back is good too. Oh crap. In 1913, the Mona Lisa, you know, the painting, the Mona Lisa, is recovered 2 years after it's stolen from the Louvre. I didn't know. I knew the Mona Lisa had been stolen. I did not know it had gone missing for 2 years. In 1932, San Francisco, California, experiences its coldest day of 27 degrees Fahrenheit, not minus, but positive. It experiences its coldest day of 27 degrees Fahrenheit, and it snows in San Francisco. In 1936, this one I don't understand, is English King Edward VIII announces on a radio broadcast that he is going to abdicate the throne so he can marry American divorcee Wallis Simpson And I'll put their picture right here. Dude, seriously, you should have stayed king. Wow. Whoo. You know, they make jokes about Camilla being horse face. She's a mite better than that one. Wow. Seriously. Must have had the skills of a Hoover. Anyways, whoa. Could you imagine waking up to that in the morning? Wow, that'd be a rough day. Start every day off crying, wouldn't you? Okay, and we're going to jump back in time. In 1395, I saved this one for last because there's more to talk about on this one. In 1395, John Eleanor Rykener, Rykener, is a male cross-dressing prostitute, and he's brought to confess to the mayor of London of his crimes because he was caught with a man in an alley doing, let's see, this is how they worded it, committing that detestable, unmentionable, and ignominious vice. In other words, sodomy. There's no mention if he's ever convicted of any crime, because at the time, prostitutes themselves were not arrested. Their pimps and their pushers of their services, their madams were arrested for pushing the service. The prostitutes themselves were not, because it was thought that without prostitutes, you would fall into further decay than prostitution and increase the amount of sodomy. And prostitution, while being against the law of man in London, sodomy was not, but it was against the laws of the church. And all sodomy crimes were charged and tried in a church court. So there was two courts you had to worry about: church court and government court. But during his interrogation by the mayor of London, it was determined that this man was taken in by a seamstress in London and taught how to be a seamstress and how to be a cross-dresser. And what the woman would do is her daughter would lure men into her bed at night, and then early in the morning, the daughter would vacate the bed, and Eleanor would go in and take her place in the bed. And then they would accuse the men in the morning of having had sex with her, instead of the daughter. And she would blackmail them. She'd blackmail them for money, for property, for whatever, but she would blackmail them. But it also came out in his interrogation. I'm going to use a piece of this broken alum block on my head. It also came out that some of his customers, or Eleanor's customers, I should say. Ooh, that's about a half a point. That sucker got in there close. Some of his customers were priests and nuns, and he did not charge for having sex with a woman. He only charged for having sex with a man, which I can understand that. You're going to pay if you're going to stick it up my rump, too. You're going to pay dearly, and not in cash. I'm going to pinch and rip it off. But anyways, no, he only charged to have sex with men. He didn't charge to have sex with women, even nuns. So what was determined was, it was turned over. The mayor turned the sodomy part of it over to the church. And the church is like, we ain't touching this. He can go away. We don't want nothing to do with this. Because the church doesn't want it coming out, which Hazel, that a bunch of priests and nuns are going to a male prostitute, for sex. That's the last thing the churches want to do. So you think the recent, in the last 20, 30 years, covers up churches in the United States of priests molesting people is recent? No, no, no. This goes all the way back to, what was it, 1695? 1395. It goes back that far. That they didn't want anybody knowing that our priests are dirty. Cella. That's a great scent. I can smell it. Just as my hands pass in front of the fan, it hit me in the face. It's a great scent. So yeah, that was the church was like, no, go away with that. We don't want that coming out. Oh wow! All right, this stuff comes out like it's melted, which it probably could be. But yeah, they didn't want that coming out at all. Plus, the mayor didn't want to prosecute that, even though it wasn't against. But he didn't want to prosecute him for prostitution. They could, but they generally didn't. That's the point. They generally didn't. They prosecuted the pimps and the pushers, the madams of the prostitutes, not the prostitutes themselves. But some of his clients were also knights. They were sirs. They were lords. And these famous, well-to-do English nobility were sleeping with a man, and that would have come out in court too. And they didn't want that happening either. So he was just kind of shuffled on down the line. Go away, please. We don't want to hear from you anymore. So, yeah. If you think the stuff that's going on today, which they're still doing it, is new, it's not. It's been going on since at least 1395. Probably longer than that. So, anyways, guys, great head shave. Absolutely fantastic head shaver. I like that. Once you get the angle down and get used to it, excellent head shave. I appreciate y'all being here. Don't forget the affiliate link when it hits $25 for you guys using it, and it hits $25 because I do get a 10% kickback on whatever you buy. When it hits $25, I will buy a $25 gift card and give it away to you guys like I always do. And please hit the links to the 4 channels I'm going to list in the box and subscribe to them. We're trying to boost their numbers naturally, the right way, and they could use our help. And I appreciate you being here. Thank you for watching and listening to the little babble on a little bit of different history set up today. So with that, I will say, done with the babbling fat guy in the camera. You're in a chair next. Happy shaves out there, guys.